Hello and welcome. You guys, I'm so excited to introduce Dr. Morgan Nolte, board certified clinical specialist in geriatric physical therapy and owner of Weight Loss for Health today. Morgan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Megan. This is fun. We were talking offline beforehand to be the interviewee instead of the interviewer.
Yes. Yes, it's a nice change and we're just so excited that you're willing to come and chat with us because I think as we were chatting about um we're just a couple days into the new year
Yeah.
and I think so many folks have already abandoned their New Year's resolutions. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, how did that happen?
Yeah. Well, COVID didn't go away.
No, it's not.
So
It,
I
it's
told
still
people, I'm like, if you're not doing something on December, 20th, don't be expecting to do it on January 1st. I always like to say there's nothing magical about Mondays.
yeah.
So similar,
Yes,
similar
it
concept.
absolutely is. It absolutely is. And we're really excited for you to chat a little bit more and walk us through how we can set realistic health and wellness and health and weight loss goals in the new year. Because I think so many of us, we say, okay, yep, we want to lose 50 pounds or we have
Mhm.
75 pounds to lose, but how in the world are we going to do that? So um, tell us, tell us about yourself, tell us about your business and what your mission is.
Awesome. Well, this is one of my favorite things to talk about. Not myself, just my business. So yeah, I'm Dr. Morgan Nolte. I'm from Nebraska, so from North Platte originally. Went to college at Lincoln, UNL, go Big Red. And then PT school at the Med Center. And then I did my geriatric residency through Creighton and Hillcrest Health Systems here locally. After that, I was a physical therapist in-house in the skilled nursing facility for Hillcrest and then home care as well. And what I really saw was this heartbreaking story of illness. So, a lot of diabetes, a lot of heart disease, dementia, cancer, arthritis, those are kind of the big five. A lot of times they had multiple comorbidities together. And what I noticed was almost every single one of my geriatric clients was overweight or obese. So they all had excess weight. And I just kind of got to thinking, why? Why are we seeing all of these chronic conditions together? And why are people who do have excess weight, why are they at a higher risk of disease? So that kind of led me down this rabbit hole of research. Dr. Fung has been a really good resource. He has a lot of different books out: the obesity code, the diabetes code, the cancer code, the complete guide to fasting. And two words really resonated with me, and that's insulin resistance. So insulin resistance is a condition that is at the heart of all of those chronic conditions, including excess weight. And when your body becomes insulin resistant, it's also very inflamed. So inflammation and insulin resistance go hand in hand. And when you reduce insulin resistance, you get healthier from the inside out. So you reduce your blood pressure, you reduce your blood sugar, you have better blood lipids, you lose weight, you lose inches, and you reduce your chances of getting sick. So as a geriatric PT, I was just heartbroken by all of the illness. And I'm like, I want to do more to prevent this in the first place. And I want to do that by helping people lose weight and keeping it off to prevent disease. So I started Weight Loss for Health to do that because I felt like there's a ton of different weight loss programs out there, right? But most of them are based on outdated science of eat less, exercise more. That will not lower your insulin resistance. That will usually just crash your metabolism and lead to weight regain. That's why 95% of diets fail. So I think that getting down to the science of how to lose weight, how to prevent disease is really at the heart of my mission. And when people ask me why, I'm really big on other people uncovering their why for losing weight. So I had the best grandparents in the world. 8 out of my 9 grandparents were at our wedding. Most of them were healthy late into life so that I could know them. They influenced my life so much. And so I always say, I'm here to help grandparents and future grandparents be there for their kids and grandkids like mine were there for me. That's my why. That's why I started Weight Loss for Health. So I really gear towards women over 40, over 50, who have struggled with weight loss most of their life. They've lost and gained the same 20, 30 pounds. They've tried every different diet out there, and they're just like, I got to learn how to live a healthy lifestyle. I need to learn how to get this under control, because they see the weight creeping up. They see the blood sugars creeping up. They see the cholesterol, the blood pressure creeping up. And they're kind of on the verge of like their doctor is saying, if you don't do something, you have to start a medication. And that's kind of a wake up call. Or they're close to the age where their own parents died, or they're having mobility restrictions. And so that's really where I come in, and I teach them what it means to live a healthy lifestyle.
That's amazing, Morgan. And I think something you said earlier really resonated with me, the preventative piece. And that's really what our Oil Up Omaha mission is all about in terms of living healthy and living abundantly. But that means that we really have to look inward and look at our homes. How are we making our homes more healthy? Whether that be through what you're eating, your chemical intake, and the products you're cleaning with and surrounding your home with. So that is awesome. We're very much in favor of that preventative care. That is the best kind of care. I'm very passionate about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've all been stuck at home for far too long. The pantry is way too close to access, and we're making plenty of trips there. So as we're working on our New Year's resolutions and maybe fine tuning and reworking those, what's your advice for setting realistic health and weight loss goals? Where do we start?
That's an interesting question. I actually think that my opinion on goal setting is a little bit countercultural. I think that we get very motivated to set a goal, right?
Mhm.
We all like to have something to work towards.
Mhm.
But what's more important is that we have the system in place and our environment is set up correctly. And we have the community that we need to reach those goals. So I really love James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. And I use this a lot in my teaching. I think it provides a really nice framework to think about goal setting versus systems implementation. So goals, I think, have a couple good purposes. But the first thing to setting a goal is really realizing what its purpose is. And it's essentially a North Star and a litmus test. So let's say that I have a goal of losing 50 pounds. So that's a North Star, right? We know that we need to kind of make decisions that are going to facilitate a 50-pound weight loss. But the second thing is it's a litmus test. So we're out late, we're going out for Mexican food, and we have the option of getting a big plate of fajitas with a lot of veggies and protein and guac and cheese and sour cream and all these like high fat, high protein foods. Or we can get 3 enchiladas, right? With a lot of refined carbs in the tortillas, and we can have the tortilla chips. And so that's a litmus test.
Yes.
That's a litmus test there. Like, is having the big plate of healthy fajitas a better decision than having the fajitas and the chips? Yes, right? That's a litmus test. That's really the only reason we need goals. So I think that the problem with goals too is people tend to, especially when losing weight, manipulate their lifestyle so severely in a way that it's not sustainable to reach the goal. It's like they're over motivated by the goal. And then once they get there, they just kind of let everything fall by the wayside, or they have no idea how to maintain that weight loss. And I always say you have to lose weight the way you want to live the rest of your life. Otherwise, you can expect to regain that weight. Okay, so I don't teach people a new diet. I teach people how to have a diet. I talk to them about macronutrients and all sorts of stuff. So when it comes to setting goals, that's the first thing, is recognize goals for what they really are. They're a North Star and they're a litmus test. Other than that, they're pretty useless. What is more important to focus on is the system which you're going to use to reach the goal, or mini goals. I think mini goals are great. So I teach my members, so Weight Loss for Health, first of all, it's an online program, an online course, and an online community with weekly office hours. So my members will come on, they'll ask questions, but I really encourage them to set implementation intentions. And that's from James Clear's book, again, Atomic Habits. And what an implementation intention is it's essentially a mini goal that you recommit to every week. So I had a bad habit of late night snacking.
Mhm.
And so I set an implementation intention, which is every night after dinner, I will go brush my teeth and keep water on hand so that I increase my fasting window and don't raise my insulin. So if the last part seemed a little wonky, it's my program's all based on like lowering your insulin resistance, and intermittent fasting is part of that. So an implementation intention is I will, and then insert your behavior at insert time and location on insert date. So the more specific that we can be, the better. So if we have a weight loss goal, where do we start? I think that the best place that we can start is by tracking.
Mhm.
I really think that tracking macronutrients, not calories, is really beneficial because it forces you to be honest with yourself and accountable about what you're eating. Most people are under eating protein. I really say I follow Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, who recommends a gram of protein per ideal pound of body weight a day. So if your goal is to weigh 150 pounds, aim for 150 grams of protein. That is way over what the government recommends. But if we start with protein and water, usually sugar cravings and carb cravings will kind of go away, or
Mm.
at least be significantly reduced. So tracking food, I think, is helpful in that regard. I think intermittent fasting is a great lifestyle technique, even 12 hours a day, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's another really good place to start. So protein, water, subsequently, you're going to reduce added sugar, add some intermittent fasting, and you got to get your sleep. So if you're sleeping for less than 7 hours a night, you're increasing your risk of diabetes, heart disease, dementia, death, pretty much everything. I'm in that boat right now. Like I have a newborn-ish baby. We're definitely not getting that much sleep and I
Oh,
feel it. So we really hope that she sleeps better. So yeah, you asked, that's a long-winded answer to a short question, but I think that we have to be realistic on what are goals and what are systems and how am I going to set everything up. So you talked about like your pantry, right?
yeah.
Sometimes people are like, well, how do I eat less sweets? And I ask, well, who's bringing them in your home? Are you doing the grocery shopping? Well, yeah. Well, don't buy it.
Right.
And then you just go throw it away. Well, Aunt Susie made me all these good Christmas cookies. I'm like, Aunt Susie won't know if you go throw them in the trash can right now. So it's like, come on, people. Well, last Christmas, I really struggled with, those baker's chocolates from Nebraska.
Yes,
They're so good.
they're so
All
good.
right. So we had some of those and they were sitting in the middle of the kitchen island. And I just kept going to get one every night after dinner. And so a simple thing is just to change your environment. So what I did was I put them in the cupboard, out of sight, out of mind. And then my husband brought them back out of the cupboard and put them back on the counter. I said, Justin, I moved those for a reason. He's like, well, I want them. Don't put them away. So, but what I did was I moved them to a different place on the counter. And that was enough. If you just have a split second chance to like, ooh, I don't actually want that chocolate. This is habitual.
Mhm.
So a lot of our poor health habits are just that, they're habits, and we can replace them with good habits. So I think that that's really important, right? Recognize the difference there. But also the first thing that I have people do in my program is identify their why. So if your goal, I always say, if your goal is just a goal and it's not tied to a deeper, more meaningful why, you will give up in the pursuit of that goal because it's going to get hard, it's going to get uncomfortable, it's going to get boring, and it's going to get slow.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if we can tie it to the why, which for a lot of my members is age better, prevent disease, lower their blood glucose and blood pressure so they can be active, healthy grandmas someday, or if they already are. So I always say if your why if you can't tell me your why in 10 seconds or less, and if that why doesn't include someone other than yourself, it's not clear enough and it's not strong enough. So those are my big recommendations for starting new goals. Okay.
Love that. I love that so much, Morgan. And I
Yeah.
think, I mean, you hit on such important things that, the habitual piece, that
Mm.
after dinner snacking, I am so guilty of that. And it's very much, I, it, I did that growing up. I
Mhm.
did it in college, like up studying late. I thought I needed something to stay awake.
Yep.
I drink coffee all throughout the day, right? Which impacts our sleep. Okay, side note, just really quick, because in our group, we have lots of young moms who are not getting the sleep that they
Mhm.
need. How do you work around that? How are you balancing that lack of sleep? Because, right, you can't control that. How have you changed your day to make sure that you're not habitually going back to some of those bad routines?
Well, are you talking in terms of weight loss or just making it through the day or when you don't
Either,
sleep, your willpower is down. So how do you stay
right.
consistent?
More of that, yes, because I think we can all relate to that.
Oh, yeah. I think that sleep, it really recharges your self control and your willpower. And you have to understand that sleep is crucial. And if you're not getting it, you can anticipate more cravings for food. You can anticipate just frankly not wanting to do anything. I got like less than 4 hours of sleep 2 nights ago.
My goodness.
I did nothing I read a book yesterday, an entire book on search engine optimization. And that's all I did. And I was okay with that. So number one, we need to give ourselves some dang grace and let Winnie the Pooh babysit the kids
Yes.
when needed.
Yep.
Because that's what happened in my
Absolutely.
house yesterday. Let's be real. Dawson watched a lot of Winnie the Pooh yesterday.
That's awesome. We've all been
And-
there.
oh
Absolutely.
gosh. And Leah's small enough to not know what's going on.
Right.
So number one, I give myself a lot of grace. I do not, I've learned to do that. That's really hard. And give myself a lot of patience to reach my goals. I weigh about 20 pounds less now than I did at my heaviest, and it took a decade to get there.
Mhm.
I mean, I help people lose it a lot faster than that now because I learned everything that I can learn about this topic. But it's okay if it's slow,
Mhm.
and so I think that that's important to give yourself some grace if you're a new mom. Um, Yesterday, I texted Justin. I said, "Why does a double cheeseburger from Runza sound so good for lunch right now?" And right after I texted that, it's like, "Because you didn't sleep at all the night before,
Right.
silly."
That sounds
Um,
amazing.
yeah. So we went and we got a double cheeseburger from Runza. It was a fun lunch date. So I let myself have exception meals or exception days, and I really try to align those with nights that I didn't sleep well. I'm not going to use intermittent fasting if I only got 4 hours of sleep.
Right.
It's
That's like
too much
torture.
stress on the body. Yeah.
Yes.
So I do use intermittent fasting. I really try to do a lower carb lifestyle, not keto. Obviously, if I'm having a double cheeseburger, I'm not doing keto.
Really funny. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think that you know, go easy on yourself if you're a
Yeah.
new mom. My aunt told me, Morgan, Superwoman's dead and she died from trying, exhaustion. So just take a break. So
That's a good, I
Superwoman's
probably
dead.
need that on my desk somewhere.
She died from exhaustion.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think that we just have to go easy on ourselves,
Yeah.
and we have to realize what's in our control. It is completely within my control if I go for the ice cream after dinner.
Hmm.
It's not in my control if Leah wakes up.
Right.
So I have to be really honest with myself. I find that tracking my food really helps hold me accountable
Okay.
as well. So,
Okay. That's
yep.
so great. And it's so real because we know we can diet until the cows come home, but we experience life. And that means maybe not enough sleep, or it means that have a chance to have a celebration. And so we need to experience those things. We can't deprive ourselves of
No.
all of that. So that's awesome. That's so
No,
great.
but I think once you do, like weight loss is hormonal. Okay. We don't have this internal calorie scale. It's based on insulin. And so what happens when we are sleep deprived is our cortisol levels go up because it's a stress on our body. Cortisol is your stress hormone. When cortisol goes up, it causes your blood sugars to go up because your body thinks it needs more energy to fight or flee. So more blood sugar is released into your bloodstream to get ready. But what did I do all day? I sat on my buns and I read a book on SEO. I didn't use any energy yesterday. So, so my insulin was probably up too then, because insulin, if for blood sugar to get into tissues, it either is pulled in by muscle demand, like exercise, or it's pushed in by insulin. So your insulin will go up when you're sleep deprived, but there's a couple other things that happen. Your ghrelin is your hunger hormone,
Mm,
and that goes up. So your hormones are literally adjusted in a way to make you want to eat more after you're sleep deprived.
mm.
And then your satiety hormones go down. So you're more likely to overeat. So once you understand this hormonal aspect, you can just kind of mentally prepare yourself. Yep, my ghrelin's up. I'm just like a ravenous monster today. And I'm going to ravenously eat on healthier foods. So I tried to do that yesterday too, is pick the healthier carbs instead of the
Yeah.
unhealthier ones. So
Yeah. That's so good to know. I had no idea, but I can absolutely relate being a new mom and breastfeeding and all of that. It's like, oh my gosh, it's too much. But that's really good to know. And it empowers us, right, to make better decisions then in those moments.
Mhm.
So Morgan, if someone would like to work with you, how do they go about doing that? What's
Yeah.
the next?
So the easiest way is to email info@reshape, or excuse me, that's my old address, info@weightlossforhealth.com. So my website's weightlossforhealth.com. I have a free masterclass. So my program has 4 modules. It's follow through, fuel, fasting, and then exercise, sleep, and stress. And then there's 6 master classes. So mastering your habits, reduce insulin resistance and inflammation, end your carb and sugar cravings, and emotional eating, break through a weight loss plateau, how to maintain your weight loss for life. Well, while I was recording the insulin resistance masterclass, I thought everybody needs this information. Like, I'm not going to charge for this. So they can actually get that 55-minute training for free on my website. They can go to weightlossforhealth.com/masterclass. And that's kind of a nice way to start the program for free, get a taste of my teaching style. And then I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Morgan Nolte. Lord knows I'm trying to learn how to use the gram. I post my daily food logs on my stories because I think it's helpful to see people kind of walk the walk instead of just talk the talk. So they can find me over there.
I love
Oh,
your
and
Instagram.
YouTube, by the way, where
Yes.
this is going to be posted. And I have a podcast. Um,
Yay.
so yeah, we can link up to all those in the show notes.
That sounds great. Yes, we'll drop comments with all of this information as well. And your Instagram page is on point. I love it. Just
Thank you.
yeah.
I didn't have a personal Instagram account. I really resisted getting a business one till someone told me I had to. And I just posted a bunch of pictures of my kids for a while because it's like, what do I post on here? And now I'm kind of getting the groove of how to do educational and helpful information. Because there's a lot of myths out there on how to lose weight. It's really not about counting calories or eating less and exercising more. It's about fueling your body and reducing your insulin. So I'm really here to help.
I love that so much. So in closing then, if you could give us just one piece of advice, what would your best advice be?
Oh my gosh.
I
I'm
know.
going to ask you that question first and then I'll answer it.
Oh, no. Oh,
If you could give us one piece of advice, Megan, to help us reach our health goals in 2021, what would it be? And then I'll answer it. But I don't
okay.
really have an answer
That's
yet, so I'm
fair.
going to have to wing it.
I would say, just off the top of my head, I'd say probably, and it's something that you said earlier, is giving ourselves more grace. Because when we're realistic with ourselves and we have given ourselves that grace, we're a lot more apt to feel good about our decisions, feel good about ourselves and in our own skin. And I think we'll be a lot more successful in making good, healthy choices, whether that be the food that we eat, the products that we bring into our home, and the chemicals that we're eliminating from our homes to live happier, healthier lives.
Yeah. I think that's good. That was like kind of a beauty pageant answer. That was nice. I like envisioned you
And,
on the
and
stage
world peace, right?
and world peace. Yeah. Gosh, I think, okay, one piece of advice, we have to take personal responsibility.
Mm,
I really think that if you're not taking full ownership of your current decisions
mhm.
and of where you are today, you will not be able to get where you want to be. Like, you have to believe deep down to your core that this is something that you can do and that you are responsible for your health and you are responsible for your future. So no matter what your situation, no matter what you've done in the past, it's in your control to change and take the next best step forward.
That's so good. That's really good.
I
I
just made
love
it up.
that.
Thank you.
Maybe you should write that down. That is a future blog post.
I was going to say I'll do that on Instagram.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Well, Morgan, thank you so, so much for taking the time to join us today. This has been so enlightening, so helpful. And I hope that this might be the first of many times that we have a chance to collaborate.
That'd be awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Megan. Thank you to everybody watching this on Facebook or YouTube. Be sure that you drop a comment below, give it a like. That helps the algorithms show it to more people. We love those algorithms. So thank you, everybody.
That would be amazing. And if you're not a part of our groups yet, we've got some awesome content that drops every single day at oilupomaha.com. Great blog content also on Facebook, Instagram, and all of that. We'll drop it in the comments. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic and productive day ahead. Thanks so much.
Bye.